Hi, good morning, friends. Today we'll be looking over here the process of how we can connect to one of our database, which is MySQL, from where we can fetch the data, we can import the data, okay, by using queries. So, how the process should be followed and how it can be done, let me show you over here. Also, we'll have a method, or we will also show a method where we can create data, or we can fetch the data within MySQL also from outsource, for example CSV file, where you can get the data by two of a method we will be explaining over here. Okay, so please make sure, if you want to get the data, or if you want to follow the process, make sure you make your own notes and then follow it properly. Okay, a step-by-step procedure will be provided over here, so you can simply copy that process or that procedure and follow. Okay, so let us begin with this. So first of all, over here in the get data, from here click on this more option. Here you will see there's a search option over here. Okay, you just have to search for MySQL. You'll get this data. Now make sure it should be a MySQL data, not a SQL data. Okay, there are others. If you go over the databases, you will see there are lots of other options that you can have. Okay, there is a SQL server, there is a MySQL database. We are not following SQL server database, we are following towards MySQL database. Click that, search that name, click that, and then say connect. It will ask you some of the questions, or let's say some of the important feed which is required to be provided over here. Okay, server name is always a local host, since we are working in our local system, in our local drive, so local host. Database over here is any of the database that has been created in your MySQL. Okay, so let me take you over there first, and then we'll come back over here. This is MySQL workbench where I'm using this Arbor DB manager, this connection over here. Okay, Arbor connection. I'll click over here, which will take me over here. Again, the same details are there, so I'll close one of them, not required both of them. So this is one which is over here. Here on the left side, you will see there are this many databases: Arbor, grocery store, Sakila, system, Word, SYS, and Word. So there are this. So over here, make sure whenever you are working on this MySQL, to fetch a data first in MySQL and then taking this database, the same database which has been fetched in MySQL. Now you are again importing it to Power BI. Okay, so that process has to be followed, these steps. Make sure you get this. So first requirement is that the data that is required for your purpose, for your analysis purpose, need to be available in MySQL. It has to be present in MySQL database. Otherwise, it will not work, isn't it? For example, if I go over here, Arbor, you can see that I have data name which is of Boston, empty cars, Titanic FBI, sorry, PBI. Okay. Now let's say if I want other data set. Okay, for example, let us take one of example first. Okay, I'll get over here data. Let's say there is one called this one, education CSV. Okay, there is one small data. It's not a huge data, it's small data, so it will be best for the purpose of showcasing our process. Okay, so education date is this. I'll copy this one and copy this one. Now this copied database data set, this has to be placed in C program data. In there you have MySQL folder, MySQL server 8.0. There is a upload folder. Here you have to paste it. Okay, leave it as is. You don't have to change the name or nothing. You don't have to do anything. You just have to keep it over here. Once it is over there, now what you will do, click on this just for the naming purpose. I'll just copy that path. I'll just copy that path. Now what I will do, I'll just paste it over here as a comment. Why I'm doing this? Because this is path which is required for me to call that file afterwards. Okay. Now, before inserting in our MySQL, we need to create a structure. We need to create its, let's say, skeleton. We need to create a structure for that file when we are fetching it. So it will follow that particular format. Okay. Now, if you look over the data, see, you can see over here, it's a data serial number, workx, and gmat. So these are the three columns that it is contained. And how many records do we have? We have 773. Okay, now with this, you just have to understand that the column over here, it's data serial number. This data serial number is, or this is a data serial number, label of a data is followed by all the numerical data, and all the numerical data is only of whole number, integer number. It does not have any decimal values within it. Same goes for every of them. Same goes for each and column, each and every data point, and each and every column which has been followed by, isn't it? So we need to create it first. To create it first, it's very simple. First, I'll copy the earlier code that I have used, so it will save us a bit time. Over here, I have to first name the data, name the table that we are going to create. Okay, education, education. Now the purpose of this is to show with Power BI, isn't it? So I will say education underscore PBI like this. Now, once you have used this create table and the table name, once you define that, now further is process over here is to create its label inside it. Now how many of them are there? Only three of them, isn't it? So instead of having this many number of input, I'll just remove this one. These are not required for now. Okay, first one is data serial. Now it is not required that you have to give same name or label name, okay, which was in education. It's not required to be mentioned over here as a same. You can change that. Okay, you can change the serial that column name. Okay, so it's not necessary it has to be matched with that particular. So if I say SR number, I'll put it like this. Okay, serial number, and that is even into data type. Okay, that's fine then. And I will use a different one now. Other one was GMAT score or work experience. Now the thing is that it has to be followed with the same sequence. You can change the column name, but the sequence will not change. So make sure you use the relevant column details. Do not switch the name. Okay, otherwise in GMAT score you might find this details, and in work experience you might find this experience. So you might find this values. Don't do that. Make sure even if you're changing the column name labels, that's fine, but the data will follow with the same sequence. First serial number, then work experience, and then GMAT. So make sure if you're changing the label name, it has to be relevant to that particular column only. So for now, I will take the same workx and GMAT. Workx, that is also int, comma, GMAT, that is also int. Fine. See, there's no error over here. Okay, so we are create a table with education name and give the serial number int, workx int. These are the labels that we have provided. Okay, now once it is done, click it. See, green mark is there, zero row affected. Why? Because there is nothing inside that. If you want to see the schema, is it been done or not? Select star from education underscore PBI semicolon. What is saying? The Arbor education PBI doesn't exist. Is there any spelling mistake over here? Oh, from the beginning we have forgot to enter U. That's fine, no problem. I'll get that over. Okay, so this is there. Make sure you don't forget to enter the EU over here, or let's say don't forget to uh, mess up with that particular name. Okay, make sure you write it properly. So here it's now education. Fine. Now the table is created. Now in this table, okay, we need to fetch the data from CSV file. For that we have other code, which is this one. Copy that one, load it over here. Now here see, load data file, load data in file. In file means this is the file where we have resided the data. Okay, this is the file, this is the path, and this is the file name. Make sure you upload the path and its file name also within it. Okay, so I'll just simply change because the same folder is there, only the name has to be changed. Now I'll make sure I don't mess with the name. Education.csv, that is the name of that file which is present over here. Make sure your backslash uh, lines, or okay, this backslash should be forward slash. All the slashes which are backward should be converted into forward. Okay. Now this is the line from where we are fetching the data and into the table. Into table means where you are going to put, or where you are going to push the data. Here I have to change the name with this because this is my table name, isn't it, that we have created, like this. Others, let it be everything here, over here as it is. Do not do anything, do not change anything, keep it as it is. Once it is done, just run it until unless you get green mark over here. Until unless you get green mark at the output, do not think it has been loaded. 773 rows are affected. Yes, now it is done. If you go again to check whether your file has been there or the data, run it over here. Now it is there. Okay, this is how you can load the data. Now another shortcut method, or let's say fast method, is also available. You just have to go over Arbor Academy. Okay, that database selected, you can see table. Okay, there's option over here, table, isn't it? You can see the name over it. Right click over there. What you have to do? Right click on that table. There is one option called table data import wizard. There's an option called table data import wizard. Click on that. This is the option that you will get. We have to browse. We'll fetch the data in downloads. I have that education, that CSV file over here. It has to be CSV. Make sure it should be CSV file. Open it. Next. Next. All the data is there. Next. It is going to import. Next. It is done. See, both of the mark are there. Next. 773 records are being imported. Fine. Now you must be remembering, we created education underscore PBI. We have also fetched education. Let me refresh it. See, now we have both of them over here. This way we can import the data into MySQL with two different ways. Now once we have the data over here, go to the Power BI. The database name is Arbor, as we have discussed earlier, and simply say OK. Once it is connected properly, it will give, see, we have all the data set which is available. Say education underscore PBI, education. We can preview also here. As I said, serial number is changed over here. That is data serial number. Okay, so these both of the data are there. From here, once you select it, you can load the data. Okay, so whichever you want, you can select and you can load the data. Okay, thank you for the presence. That's all today. Thank you.